Good evening, everyone. My name is Deborah Flora, and I am so honored to welcome you here. Thank you so much for making it out here. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's just start off by why we're here. We're here, number one, because we love our kids. I'm a mom, first and foremost, and that is my favorite title and my greatest privilege and honor. And my wonderful husband is right there, and together we are honored to be parents. That's why we're here tonight. We're here because of family. The very building block of Western civilization is under attack right here in the state that I grew up in Colorado. We're on the front line. I see so many of you here that I was in the Capitol building with last night until very late, testifying against HB 251312. And it's because of so many of you that spent so many hours there that last night some parts of the bill were removed. But we're here because I think of a phrase I saw in our nation's capital on one of our memorials, and it says, "The price of freedom is eternal vigilance." We have to stay vigilant. We have to stay vigilant that those parts of that bill do not get reintroduced. We have to stay vigilant because redefining misgendering as coercive control or child abuse is not according to the founding principles of our nation. Allowing the state to remove children from the loving care of their parents, that is also against what is the building block of our country. Parental guidance and love is not abuse. However, 1312 is an abuse. It's an abuse of government power into the very structure of the family. If our founding fathers had ever thought that we would arrive in this day, I believe that parental rights would have been in the Bill of Rights. Why did they not put it in there? Because this day is unthinkable to them. And let's be clear, this is not an issue for one group, one demographic, one party, or one ethnicity. Parental rights, the very building block of our society, is a fundamental right of every parent, no matter their belief system, to be the ones who guide and direct the upbringing of their children. That's why I'm so grateful that we have people here from so many communities. We've invited the Islamic community, the African immigrant community, we've invited the Jewish community, Christian community, we've invited people from both sides of the aisle and every single demographic. This is not an issue of left or right, but right or wrong. And that's why I'm grateful to have so many people from every background coming here to stand together. You see, I do believe that if we stand together and join our voices, we will not only stop 1312, but we will build a coalition that will make sure this day never comes again. We'll get back to the place where this kind of overreach of government into the family unit will once again be unthinkable. That's the goal. We're deeply grateful, by the way, that tonight is not just about one organization, it's about many organizations. We're grateful for our chapter leaders, we're grateful for our coalition partners, so many who have been on the front lines, standing up for the right of parents to raise their children according to their own beliefs, not the government's beliefs or someone else's beliefs. And if you have not met many of our coalition partners, please do make sure that you go into that room afterwards to see how you can support them. Right now, it's my honor to introduce one of those amazing ladies leading this charge as well, and that is Laura Gimelshsteyn with Colorado Parent Advocacy Network. Come on up. Lori's going to share with you, she's doing many things to take a stand, but she's going to share something that each and every one of you can do right now.
Thank you, Deborah. Wow, it's wonderful to look out at this incredible crowd of people coming together. And just like Deborah was saying, one of the things that makes Colorado so unique is that all of these parent and citizen-led organizations like our Moms for Liberty chapters and Grandparents for Kids and Gays Against Groomers, we're all working together for the same mission. We all have different work that we're doing, but it's together that we will be successful. And I am so excited that we were able to gather over 33,000 signatures from Coloradans who read this bill and saw it as a overreach of the government into our ability to direct the upbringing, education, and care of our children. So with that said, With 1312 now going to the Senate floor, the petition is still open, and we would like you to sign and share the petition. You can go to coloradoparents.org, and it's right on our homepage. We have a red action button. Just click on that. Again, coloradoparents.org. Please sign and share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lori. I also want to thank some of our elected officials who are here tonight. We have Representative Scott Bottoms. If you'll take a stand when I mention your name. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. We have Representative Brandi Bradley. Thank you. We have Representative Jarvis Caldwell. Jarvis, thank you so much. We have Alicio Gonzalez. He is with Congressman Gabe Evans' office. Alicio, can you stand? Or wave your hand. There he is. We have Alicia Brown. She's with the Lone Tree City Council. Thank you. And we also have former Congressman Greg Lopez. Did I miss any elected official? Thank you all so much for being here. Now, speaking of amazing ladies, I get to introduce Lori, and now I'd like to introduce another amazing lady. And that is someone who is fighting this fight all over the country and then supporting our great chapter leaders here. That is Tina Descovich. She is the co-founder and CEO of Moms for Liberty.
Thanks, Deborah. Deborah recently joined our board of directors at Moms for Liberty, and we are so grateful to have her help. And it's ironic that right after she joins the board of directors, being from Colorado, born and raised, right? Born and raised? Raised, at least. Colorado becomes ground zero for parental rights. So it's irony, or it's all in the plan. I'm just going to take a minute because I know we want to get to hear from the parents and the elected officials and those that are fighting on the ground and know what's happening here more than I do in Colorado. But the one thing I do want to do is take a minute to give much due recognition to our Colorado chapter chairs. We have 6 chapters of Moms for Liberty here in Colorado, and 5 of our chapter leaders are here. So please stand and be recognized. Christy Davis from El Paso County. Representative Brandi Bradley from Douglas County. As a side note, we have 8 chapter chairs serving in state legislatures right now around the country and growing with every election. Yuli Ramirez from Weld County. Melissa Martyr, Boulder County. And Christina, where are you, Christina? Larimer County, did I say it right? Larimer County? From Larimer County. Those ladies, along with so many of the other organizations that are here, really are on the front lines, doing a lot of incredible work to make sure parental rights are protected and that education outcomes are improved in their communities.
Hello, welcome everybody. I'm so excited to see a lot of you here. There's a lot of familiar faces and people that I've worked with. So the Madison Minute that I picked today is from Thomas Jefferson. A strict observance of the written laws is doubtless one of the high duties of a good citizen, but it is not the highest. The laws of necessity, of self-preservation, of saving our country when in danger are of higher obligation. To lose our country by a scrupulous adherence to written law would be to lose the law itself. With life, liberty, property, and all those who are enjoying them with us, thus absurdly sacrificing the ends to the means. We as parents and community members must fight back against our government when they create egregious laws that threaten our freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, openly violating these constitutional rights, our state laws and federal laws, and most importantly, our fundamental rights to direct the care, upbringing, and education of our children. We must stand in the gap between government's overreach and our children, for they are the future of this country, and we must give them the best future we can. We do not co-parent with the government. Thank you. And so this was the speech that I went up to the Capitol yesterday and waited so long and didn't get to say. So this is my speech opposing House Bill 251312. Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. My name is Christy Davis. I am a parent and chapter chair of Moms for Liberty in El Paso County. I urge a no vote on this bill. I would like to thank the committee for stripping sections 2, 5, and 8 out. Supporters of this bill argue anything but full affirmation of gender ideology will be classified as abuse. Numerous studies have shown that children taken from their parents suffer harm that never goes away despite any tragedy that may have led to their removal. Life-altering. Children are feeling pressured from external influences. They do not fully understand and are being pressured into declaring a new gender identity that research shows can be detrimental. Removing loving, cautious parents from the equation will only isolate children even more from the people who provide for and truly care about the permanent consequences, and will force children to make decisions they aren't mentally capable of making in their childhood. Vital questions to consider. Who did the sponsors of the bill stakeholder during their research? They have openly admitted they spoke only to those who agree with them and choose to slander those who disagree with this tragic bill that would have separated children from their parents. Please consider who in the state actually wants this bill. Is it really Colorado stakeholders or outsiders pushing to destroy constitutional freedoms that states do not have the right to infringe upon? Misgendering and dead naming is not rooted in facts. When you create laws that force or compel somebody to go along with another person's beliefs, that is a violation of our First Amendment rights. When you force people to go along with a belief system that's rooted in emotions and not facts, you create chaos that no court will ever be able to rule on without a biased viewpoint. This is the definition of compelled speech. Transgender individuals have a right to dress and identify as they choose in this country. That is the beauty of living in the USA. But they do not get to infringe on our rights and force us to go along with their beliefs. Parents will not stay silent. Regardless of our differences, our parental rights and our children's well-being is under assault in this state. A yes vote on this bill will not only undermine our rights as parents and strip away many of the freedoms we are guaranteed under our Constitution, but it will further break our trust that we may have for our legislators to protect our children in this state. This bill will tear families apart, worsen mental health of families, and medicalize children for life. There is nothing scarier to a parent than knowing our children are in danger. Do not fail the parents of the state, and do not fail the children of Colorado. I urge you all to vote no on this bill. Thank you.
Oh, this is high for me. I'm short. I'm Jen Zay. I'm a relatively new Coloradan, which you may or may not know. I am the founder and CEO of XXXY Athletics, and we're the only athletic brand standing up for the protection of women's sports. And we are standing up for biological reality. This is about right and wrong, not left and right. I spent my entire life as a Democrat. I'm not anymore, partly because of this, but mostly because of COVID. So I moved to Colorado in 2021 because it was better than California. Now, you can laugh, but here's the thing. It was, and I was a San Franciscan, not just a Californian. For 35 years, I lived in San Francisco, and I loved it. And you might laugh, and you might say, why did you come here? Why didn't you? You could have done better. But here's the thing. It really was better. I mean it. It really was. I came here so that my son could go to school, and he did. I had a kindergartner at the time, and the schools in California were closed for 19 months. And I moved here in March of 2021. I know this is off topic, but this is why I'm going to fight for this state. I moved here in March of 21 so that a kindergartner, my son, could attend school, and he did. And I will always be grateful to Colorado for that. I moved here because the schools were open. My child was isolated, he was alone, he was a depressed 6-year-old, and we got here, and he was fine. He had friends, he ran around, he went to the playground. I picked up my life. I lived in that city for 35 years. I worked in a company for 23 years. I left all of it to come here so that my child could go to school. I will always be grateful to Colorado for that. And I will not watch Colorado descend into California crazy. I won't do it. I'm not moving again. Here's the thing, though. I want to give you a little hope, because as crazy as it feels here right now, and it does, and for the first time in the last couple months, when people say to me, why did you come here from California, I sometimes go, I'm not sure why, for the first time, whereas I used to always say, it's better, I swear it's better. But here's a little hope for you, because this state has a libertarian streak. It has a freedom-loving streak. It has a rugged individualism streak, and it is still present. I live in Denver. I live in a deep blue neighborhood in a deep blue city in a deep blue state, and I have a sign, a yard sign, in front of my house that says, in this house, we believe that women's sports are for XX only. It has never been stolen. It has never been taken down. It has never been vandalized. My neighbors know what I think. They don't all agree with me, but they engage with me and they talk to me, and I still get invited to all the parties and the dinner parties. So that could not happen in California. So I tell you this, it's important. That's like this hope for me. You see what I mean? That couldn't happen in San Francisco. That couldn't happen in California, and it is still happening here. It's still present. But this bill is seeking to control what we think, how we raise our children, what we say. It's exerting the coercive control that only exists in authoritarian regimes, quite frankly. And I won't stand by and let it happen. I've lost everything already. I lost a job I loved, the city I loved, pretty much every friend I ever had. And I can't be canceled a third time, right? So, let's just do this. Let's get this done. I'm not going to give in to this cult-like behavior. And I want to just say, I know everyone is probably going to talk about the violation of parental rights involved in this bill, and that is absolutely paramount. But I want to just speak to the violation of free speech and freedom of thought, because it is such an egregious violation of the First Amendment to tell us what we can say in public to each other. Look, I know there's people here that disagree with me, and I want to hear what they say, because I actually believe in free speech. I believe that we cannot compel speech and tell people what they must say. And this idea that you can criminalize misgendering or determine that that is abuse of some sort, they want to reach into your home and your thoughts and your mind and say, you must believe this. You must believe a lie. You must say what we tell you. This must be your religion. I'm not a religious person. I may be one of the only people in the room that's not. But I believe in freedom of religion. And I believe you get to believe what you do, Tina, and you get to believe what you do, Lori, and I get to believe what I do. I am a strong advocate for children and truth. I've been doing that for 20 years. And I believe in biological reality, and I believe we get to raise our children the way that we determine, barring abuse. And this is not abuse, let me be clear. So this does not count. Calling it that is such a distortion of the truth that I can't even wrap my head around it. But as I said, it goes well beyond parental rights. I'm a business owner. My business is 1 year old. Thank you all for the support, because a lot of you folks, I've seen your faces before. And I do believe it makes a difference, because every time you wear the shirt, and I hear the stories, I know I'm over, but I'm almost done, I swear. You have a conversation. Every time you wear the shirt, you wear the hat, you have a conversation at the soccer field. 9 times out of 10, moms lean in and they say, I agree with you. And it's like this permission structure that they can say it out loud. Sometimes they don't, and that's fine too, and I still have a productive conversation with those people. But I want to say this bill would essentially bar me from operating my business. If I were to say, which I do, if you think it isn't fair or safe for males to compete in girls' sports, stand up, that would be a criminal act. I could not operate my business. I would be told, that is misgendering and that is hate speech and you can't say that. And I would ask then in return, what can I say? And they would say to me, well, if you think it isn't fair or safe for females to compete in girls' sports, which is the stupidest thing ever because everybody thinks that's fine. So it negates and criminalizes my brand, my business. I am fighting for parents and free speech at the most fundamental level. This is un-American. It's a violation of the First Amendment, and it needs to be fought with everything we have. I'm not giving up on Colorado. I'm not moving again. So I am ready to do this. I hope you're with me.